my way.
What's up guys, it's Oblivious Gamer, and today I will be doing my review on Onechanbara Origin, which frankly I was really surprised how much fun I had with the game, and I ended up really liking it. Now as always, if you like the content, don't forget to subscribe. So before I continue, I want to disclose this is my first Onechanbara game. I have been aware of the series but never played a game. So this game is my first one, and as I mentioned, I was quite surprised how much I end up enjoying it. One thing that really caught my attention was the art style. The original Onechanbara games were using like 3D models, where this game has a more anime style, which I really like. When I compare the old character models with the new ones, I just like the newer ones. Plus, for some reason, the old models just give me like a uncanny valley vibe. From what I understand, Onechanbara Origin is a complete HD remake with all new art style, graphics, and optimized storytelling, combining both the Onechanbara and the Onechanbara 2 games, which were originally released for the PlayStation 2 in 2004 and 2005. They also claim it's a new interpretation for the story of the two half-sisters Aya and Saki, bound by mutual hatred and locked in a brutal fight to the death, eventually overcoming their cruel fate and fighting alongside one another to find their father. That's apparently the premise for the first Onechanbara game, while the plot for the second Onechanbara game is described as after the sisters overcome their cruel fate in killing one another, they overcome their rivalry against one another and ally together to depart on their journey of finding their father Oboro, after he leaves behind a message that names Ava as the mastermind behind his wife's death, and all of the chaos that ensued between the two sisters, including the vice that made Saki insane and hell-bent on avenging her mother. In the game, you start playing as Aya, the one that wears the bikini to fight zombies, and eventually Saki, which is her sister, is added to the party, and you will be able to play as both and interchange them at any time. Now, to be honest, the story I would say is just okay. It's not bad, but there isn't anything that makes you say, wow, this is a great story. It also feels like there isn't much building to it, like you're just dropped in the action, which is fine. I mean, it still isn't hard to follow, but as someone who is new to the franchise, it would be nice if they would have expanded on some things a bit more in the story mode and not me like sometimes having to look up stuff. The story is also very short, so I ended up finishing the story mode in around 7 hours. I was also playing in normal difficulty. Now, just because a game has a short story, it doesn't mean it's a bad game. At least I believe that. I also feel if it's a short story, it has to be substantial. And well, this story is just okay. Also, another reason the story is short is because this is a game that wants you to come back and replay it again, since you can level up characters, unlock moves, and objects that can help you improve stats, as well as at the end of every mission, you get a rating. So of course, the game has mechanics that will want you to come back to do better, such as getting a higher combo or a better grade in the mission. One thing to point out is the dub is okay. I like it. I don't have any problems with any of the voice acting, but in many scenes, they did a horrible job when it comes to lip syncing, and here are some of the examples.
My sister. Fine. All right, they're gone. Mom. Lend me your strength. With the Tsubaki-style Mortal Kombat skills I inherited from my mother, I will kill you!
Another thing I want to point out is during the story mode, it does this weird camera angle many times that like it points in between like the upper chest and the lower part of the face, and it just looks weird, and it happens very often. And believe me, this is not used for fan service purposes. I know the difference. Gameplay in this game is extremely fun. I personally feel it is very satisfying. The game is a hack and slash that has a combo counter and a kill streak counter too. There's an emphasis on performing combos, which, as your character levels up, will unlock more. There's a decent variety. Granted, this is not Devil May Cry, but it has enough that it can be very satisfying when you're performing them on the zombies or the bosses. They also have something called Cool Combination System, which is targeted supposedly to advanced players. This requires exact timing to connect combos, which if you attack again, just as another attack hits, the combo will turn into a cool combination, which you will see the character will emit a blue light when performed, and usually this increases the speed and the strength of the action. I find it really cool and fun when you're able to nail the cool combinations, especially as you try to learn the specific timings. Characters have more than one weapon, so that's also fun being able to switch between the weapons and just use whichever one you like or feel more comfortable with. Also, the characters can transform. There is 2 transformations, which are called Berserk form and Ecstatic form, each time increasing the power of the character, and both Saki and Aya can do both transformations. Personally, I think Ecstatic form looks the coolest. However, both transformations have their upside and downside. Such as ecstatic form, you will not flinch and have a stronger attack, but in this form, your health will gradually deplete. Saki and Aya can perform what are called cool finishes when enemies are stunned. Both characters have their own unique cool finishes. Both Saki and Aya also have like a super they can do when their gauges are filled, and since you can switch characters when they're performing their supers, it can lead to some interesting combos and ways to engage bosses. And not just with supers, but with other attacks too, since the tagging between characters is instant. There's also a reload mechanic, which one can think it would be annoying, but surprisingly it isn't. So what happens is, as you fight enemies, at the side there's a picture of your weapon, and like blood will slowly fill and paint the weapon, and once it's filled, your weapon will do less damage, so you need to press the reload button and you will get rid of the blood. You can also reload mid combos too, and as I mentioned, it doesn't feel like something annoying. I feel it adds to the depth of the game, because it's also something you want to keep paying attention to. At the same time, if the meter is full, yes, you do less damage, but it's not like you can't attack or you're doing 0 damage. So it's not as punishing until you get used to, because once you get used to reloading, it becomes something natural. At least for me, it became something natural. There's also a dodge button and a parry button in the game. They will be very important mechanics to master during boss fights or when fighting specific types of enemies, especially the parry mechanic, since enemies get stunned when you parry and you can finish them with a cool finish. As mentioned before, you will be leveling up both Aya and Saki, and leveling them up will make them stronger, since every time you level up, you get stat points that you can distribute between health, attack, and defense. You will unlock more moves and gain more gauges to perform special moves as you level up too. So I personally feel here's where you will enjoy most of the game, since there's just a decent amount of stuff to play around, learn, and to master. There's even a practice mode for you to use to try and master the game. The game once finished will unlock bonus missions, which is called Infinite Survival, where you will fight against waves of enemies. This is where I have been putting most of my time, and I have been having a lot of fun. Also, you will be able to unlock a character called Lei, which her weapons and moves are very interesting, and I'm having a lot of fun with her in Infinite Survival mode. She also is a little bit more unique with her, again due to her weapons, and also her reload mechanic is pretty interesting. So I think this character is a nice addition, especially as an unlockable character, since she works a little bit more different than Aya or Saki. Now, Lei is a character you will have to meet certain conditions to unlock her, or you can unlock her by purchasing her. The game also will have DLC and costumes and extra missions you will be able to play with specific characters. There's also a season pass. In the end, I was surprised how much fun I ended up having, and I really enjoyed the game. And hell, I can't wait for whatever comes next for the Onechanbara series, especially if they stick with this art style. I think it really goes well for the game. Now, with that said, I need to set aside my bias, and here's how I see it. I don't feel I can recommend this game to everyone, especially since it's $59.99, as much as it pains me. Now, who is this game for? Well, if you like the art style, don't care too much about the story, and want a fun waifu hack and slash game, I can say for sure, go ahead and buy it when it comes out for the full price. If you fall in this category, go ahead and buy it, you would definitely enjoy it. But if you're someone who is like undecided and there's nothing specifically that is grabbing you or interesting you for this title, I think you need to wait for a sale. If this game is like $49.99 or $39.99, I feel it is sure worth it for anyone. Especially again, like I said, those who are undecided. So yeah guys, in the end, I really enjoyed this game. Onechanbara Origins came out in Japan in 2019 and it's coming out finally for the West. It's coming out on PS4 and Steam on October 14th. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down below. I will do my best to answer them. This has been Oblivious Gamer and I hope you'll have a wonderful day or night wherever you are.